Part 90. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 892. This is the evil secret. After a lifetime of fighting, she was stained with the enemy's blood, causing the world to change their color after hearing her name, calling her a devil. But deep down in her heart, she was tired of blood and killing. Perhaps, from the beginning, she just wanted to be a carefree child, but the big hand of fate pushed her to the position of evil. Born with an invincible demon body, responsible for the survival of the demon clan, she had no choice but to embark on the road of conquest. In the endless years of killing, he could meet his big brother and have such a peaceful and beautiful time. When you are an ordinary farm boy, you can grow vegetables and raise chickens every day. You can have fun on the fields and paths, you can catch loaches and get dirty, you can listen to your elder brother reading poems and painting, and he can listen to him telling stories in books. This may be the most precious memory in Moji's life. During that time, her soul found its home, washed away the dust in her heart, eliminated the murderous spirit, and returned to her original nature and freedom. It also strengthened her inner kindness. Everything about her eldest brother is also the most precious secret in her heart. At this moment, she finished telling her secret, with a smile of joy and relief on her lips. She looked at Xuanhuan and felt extremely satisfied. The eldest brother is back. In this life, I stay with the eldest brother, read and write, can read many books, and see many beautiful worlds. Enough. Xuanhuan's eyes couldn't help but burst into tears at this moment. In the previous life, it turned out to be like this. She recalled everything in the courtyard. When she was born from the Xiantian realm, she was brought to her eldest brother by a mysterious hand. After entering the small mountain village, her eldest brother taught her reading and literacy, patiently let her learn poetry and songs, and gave her all the books. Big brother, are you helping yourself to make up for the regrets of your previous life? It turns out that the eldest brother has never forgotten the promise made in his previous life, so he wants to fish himself out of the long river of cause and effect. Xuanhuan felt particularly reassured and warm in her heart, and she said, "Big brother is back. He is in a village. There are many villagers in the village, and they are very nice people. The second uncle often sunbaths at the entrance of the village and is warm-hearted. If someone goes to cause trouble in the village, he is always the first to come forward. Uncle Zhang is very good at farm work. He raises 2 cows, an old yellow cow, a big black cow, and there are also many pigs. When we were having dinner a few days ago, he said he would treat us to a pig-killing meal at the end of the year. Aunt Wang is very diligent. Before Sister Yungzi came to the village, she often proposed marriage to her eldest brother, which made him run away in embarrassment every time. My eldest brother has planted many fruit trees in the village. We can eat watermelons in the summer and oranges in the autumn. The persimmons are almost ripe in the past 2 days, he will also cook a lot of delicious food for us. There are often banquets in the village. Everyone sits together and talks, smiling and eating together. Xuanhuan talked about interesting and trivial things in the village, which was plain and simple, but Moj was fascinated by it. Her big eyes were full of yearning, and a smile appeared at the corner of her mouth, and she said, "This kind of village is really nice." Xuanhuan continued. Big brother not only rescued me, but Yinzun, Wuzun, sword master, painting master, medicine master, they all came back and became big brother's apprentices. The eldest brother built a small yard, in which the sacred cows, black basalts, 9-tailed foxes, the 10 spirits were playing and playing. The original god Pu, the 9-turn precious bamboo, the unicorn fruit tree, the 10 medicines grew lushly, and yes, there were phoenix, true dragon, flat peach tree. She talked about the scene in the small courtyard, paused and said, "My eldest brother taught me how to read and write. He is very attentive. Now I read every day. I have already learned 300 Tang poems, collection of songs. There are many books to read. I'll teach you when the time comes. The devil's face was full of joy and he couldn't help but say, "That's great, that's great." With tears of joy in her eyes, she said, "Although I am dead, there is still another life, being able to stay with my big brother is enough." Xianning was in the Dao Jingdi, accompanying Mo Xiu Xieji, and told her many things about the village. After a long, long time, Mog finally stood up, with a satisfied and happy smile on her face. "Okay, let's go out. The demon ancestor is quite nice, so we'd better save him." Xianning nodded, and before leaving, she glanced at Dao Jingdi. There are many mysterious magic characters floating in the Taoist scenery. Those characters contain 100 questions from the ultimate grimoire. After just a cursory glance, Xianning already roughly understood. She waved her hand, and immediately, the Dao scenery for demonic Dao overhaul was reopened. Now, outside world. 10 years in the outside world, but only a moment in Dao Jingdi, they may have died in it. Lu Fei spoke. "It's best to be dead. A devil, a devil's reincarnation, both are too extraordinary." Yafei also agreed. Ji Qianming remained silent. He was very calm. No matter what the outcome was, he didn't care. "Anyway, you are sure to win." "Hey, two little girls who seem to be quite smart, why are they so confused?" Demon Ancestor felt a little regretful and said, "There are still ghosts in the Daojing land, and the spirits of the dead are still there, they have no experience in dealing with such things." He was very worried, feeling that something might happen to the Demon Fierce and the Demon Fierce evil corpse this time. But, right now, the Taoist scenery that seemed imaginary and real resurfaced, transforming from imaginary to real. Reality and reality intersected for a moment, and two figures suddenly appeared in the pavilion. Astonishingly, they were Xianning and Mog. Seeing the two people appear, everyone was instantly shocked. "They came out. You didn't die in it?" Lu Fei and others were extremely surprised. Ji Qinming's eyes suddenly darkened. Even Demon Ancestor was surprised and exclaimed, "It's really amazing to be able to come out alive. Even my ancestor was almost killed by that ghost when he forced his way into the Dao scenery. He only survived because of the rescue from the person at the end of the world. How did you escape?" He was curious. Xianning said, "Run away." "Why run away? Wouldn't it be better to kill the ghost?" When Demon Ancestor heard this, the corner of his mouth twitched, and he couldn't help but look at Demon Ancestor and said, "You don't like to brag that much. Why is your reincarnation so arrogant and exaggerated?" The devil rolled his eyes at him and said, "If you can't beat yourself, just treat others like you." The dead spirit was indeed killed. Hearing this, Demon Ancestor couldn't help but feel a little dazed. This doesn't seem to be fake. But, kill the dead? Isn't this nonsense? Things like dead souls directly caused great turmoil in the entire Grey Mist Sea back then, and all cultivators who opened the Taoist land were in danger. In particular, the dead souls are protected by reincarnation rings. Even the demon ancestors and other heaven-defying figures cannot kill them at all. At most, the scenic spot can only be closed, not opened, and not disturbed. In this way, it is like self-proclaimed. Although it can temporarily avoid being devoured by the ghosts and ghosts that parasitize in the Taoist landscape, it also blocks the way forward, and the cultivation level cannot be improved. But, now, the devil and her reincarnation have killed the dead? No matter how you look at it, it all looks like boasting, which is unreliable. Haha, are you really arrogant, killing the dead souls in Dao Jingdi? What a shameless statement. At this moment, Ji Qianming spoke coldly, stared at Zinning, and said, I'll give you a chance to make a blood oath. From now on, you will be loyal to the Grey Mist Sea and recognize me as your master. This way, you can survive. Otherwise, I will let you taste what it feels like to be swallowed by the evil spirit of that evil master. He is extremely confident. No matter what is special about the reincarnation of the devil, she has been contaminated by the ultimate magic book. The obsessive and resentful spirit of the demon master had also sneaked into her sea of consciousness without anyone noticing. This is his confidence. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 893. Ji Qianming was extremely confident, and his words were full of undisguised arrogance. He thought he was sure of victory. But Xianming said, "Oh, has a major overhaul of the devil's path? Then let his obsession disappear." As she spoke, she suddenly waved her hand. Around her, many demonic characters appeared instantly. Those characters constitute mysterious regular graphics, magic mantras, etc. Although they have the true meaning of the Tao, they are all very simple. As she waved her hand, in an instant, the ultimate magic book placed on the table suddenly began to turn quickly without any wind. On every page of the book that is turned, demonic runes emerge, gathering into a river of demonic runes, rushing towards Zinning. At this moment, there were terrifying demonic sounds all around, as if the supreme demon god was praising, and there was a complex and vast demonic energy shrouding it, as if the supreme demonic light was shining. And Xianming is right in the middle, being set off like the supreme devil emperor. Seeing this scene, everyone present was shocked to the extreme. No. She revealed the remaining 90 questions. Lu Fei was stunned, even more frightened than when he saw the big black dog. How is this possible? How did she do it? Yafei murmured, his mouth opened wide. Even Ji Qianming was completely stunned, with an incredible look in his eyes. This was beyond his knowledge. This is the ultimate magic book, and it is very famous in the Grey Fog Sea. Among them, many ultimate 100 questions have been tried by many demonic masters throughout the ages, but they all failed in the end. Instead, they provoked the obsessive and resentful spirits of the demonic cultivators, and they died unwillingly. Now, he is actually being raped by a little girl. In the blink of an eye, everything was untied. Who can believe this? If it reaches the Grey Mist Sea, even the most powerful supreme beings will look sideways and be alarmed. All unlocked? Is this the legendary top student? Demon Ancestor was in a daze at the moment. The reincarnation of evil spirits is too powerful, right? An endless ocean of magic runes appeared in front of Xianming. These magic runes represent extremely profound magic secrets. Even the magic masters in the Sea of Grey Mist would kneel down and beg for help. However, Xianming is so indifferent. 100 questions have been answered, I finally see freedom, ha ha ha. At this time, a voice that was so trembling with joy slowly sounded. Suddenly, magic light overflowed from the spiritual platforms of demons Xiji, Heavenly Demon King, Demon Ancestor, etc., converging into a phantom. That was an old man, exuding a demonic aura, with extremely advanced cultivation. He is the demonic master. He stood among the endless demonic runes, contemplated the secrets of the runes, and was filled with emotions. I didn't expect that there would be someone in this world who could unlock this book. He let out a long sigh, and then suddenly knelt down to Xianming. I got this book by chance. The hundreds of questions in it are really difficult, which has troubled me all my life, even until my death. I was still unwilling to accept it, so I cast it into the book with my flesh and blood, so that when someone in the future can solve it, I can let see it again. He smiled and said, "Now that I see the power of the devil, I can solve this problem. I feel very relieved. The evil spirit that is obsessed with it is finally freed. Thank you, old man. He kowtowed deeply to Xuanhuan. Then, the entire figure disappeared instantly. Never again. The obsessive spirit of demon Dao Daxio completely disappeared. Seeing this, everyone was shocked again. The obsession and resentment of the demonic Dao cultivator actually dissipated like this. Yafei and others were stunned. That demonic cultivator was a famous figure in the sea of grey mist. But just now, he knelt down and worshipped this little girl, showing great respect to her. At the same time, Demon Ancestor was instantly surprised. In the sea of consciousness, the obsessive and resentful spirit has left, and he is free again. At this moment, he looked at Xuanhuan with complicated eyes. This little girl is really pervertedly strong. Such difficult questions were all solved easily. Is this a human being? The evil spirit of the demonic Dao cultivator dispersed, and the ups and downs of the demonic Dao ocean poured towards Xuanhuan. This ocean of demonic ways contains the profound meanings of the demonic ways, as well as countless top-secret cultivation knowledge of the demonic ways. If other demon cultivators were given such an opportunity, they would probably faint from surprise. This is a great opportunity. However, Xuanhuan said. So much rubbish knowledge, it's of no use at all. As she spoke, she looked at the demon king next to her and said, well, let me use your not-so-smart brain to cover up these annoying low-level knowledge. After saying that, he waved his hand. Suddenly, the ocean of demonic energy poured towards the heavenly demon king. Seeing this scene, the demon king was stunned. He couldn't close his mouth with smile and stood stupidly. Boom! Countless knowledge enters the brain. At this moment, the demon king felt as if his soul had been sublimated, his brain seemed to have opened up, and he could see the true meaning of countless demonic ways. I got it, hey, I got it, haha, I got it, I got it. The majestic demon king is dancing like a fool at this moment. Next to him, even demon ancestors' eyes were straightened. This knowledge was very, very useful to him. He hesitated for a moment, but then he was so cruel that he gave it all. He immediately stepped forward, gritted his teeth and said, well, I'm not very smart either. He looked at Xuanhuan with burning eyes and said, I can also help accommodate some low-level knowledge. Xuanhuan rolled her eyes at him and said, oh, thank you, no need to help. Demon Ancestor suddenly became anxious and said, no, I've been guarding your body for so many years. Can you give me some face, sister? I have no merit but hard work. Xuanhuan just said, don't worry, we will repay you well. This rubbish knowledge is nothing. You will become mentally ill in a few days, there will be a lot of rubbish waiting for you in the village. You will be happy. When the demon ancestor heard this, he was very angry. The reincarnation of this evil villain is so unethical. It's okay if he doesn't give it, and he still treats himself as a mentally ill person? Do you want to go to the village to pick up trash? Aren't you just a little smarter than him? Insulting the devil like this. It's too much to bully the devil, it's too much to bully the devil. Are you too arrogant? Do you think I don't exist? At this moment, Xuanhuan couldn't help it anymore. He roared angrily and said, you are all going to die. Then, he waved his hand suddenly and said, kill. Following his voice, two terrifying figures suddenly appeared in the darkness. On one side, the sky is full of blood, and the terrifying power is almost killing everything. On the other side, there is a shocking hammer with unrivaled brilliance. The artifact ancestor and the blood ancestor are taking action. Demon ancestor, accept your fate. Blood ancestor shouted. Betrayal of the grey mist sea, damn it. Chizu also roared angrily. When demon ancestor saw it, his color changed instantly. Blood ancestor, you two guys actually want to attack me. He was very helpless, but he had no choice but to take action, and he immediately fought with the artifact ancestor and the blood ancestor. 2 against 1, it's so shameless. The demonic evil corpse spoke, and then suddenly took a step forward to fight side by side with the demon ancestor. At this moment, the terrifying war broke out. In the blink of an eye, the Jingmo Lake exploded and the demon palace was directly razed to the ground. Are you two really going to break your agreement with Wandao ending? Demon ancestor roared while fighting. What is the end of all roads? The sea of grey mist is the avenue to the sky. Blood ancestor sneered. Demon ancestor, don't be stubborn. Chi ancestor also waved the magic hammer in his hand. Demon ancestor was about to be furious when suddenly, a secret message came from his ears, which instantly stunned him. Demon ancestor, I am an undercover agent. Let's find an opportunity to kill Chi ancestor's grandson together. This is the voice of the blood ancestor. The blood ancestor is actually an undercover agent? This moment surprised demon ancestor. He couldn't help but look towards Chi Zihu. Demon ancestor, I'm an undercover agent. Hurry, you have to entangle the blood ancestor, and I'll get around and give him a hammer. The secret words of Chi ancestor were also transmitted instantly. Demon ancestor. Sleep. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 894. Battle on the field. Demon ancestor fought fiercely with blood ancestor and weapon ancestor, and even demon fierce directly joined the battle group. Terrifying chi came out, and the sky fluctuated so much that the space was almost destroyed. Thousands of thunders, thousands of miles of magic clouds, blood flooded the universe, and the divine hammer smashed through the sky. Everyone was shocked, and the demon state felt it. All living creatures are trembling. This terrifying fluctuation not only shook the entire demonic wasteland, but also spread to the 4 regions and 8 wastelands. Great Brahma Wasteland. In a certain ancient temple, a bell rang gently. An old monk sitting cross-legged like a dead tree couldn't help but raise his eyes and look in the direction of Mohuang. A fight started. The old monk whispered. If this world is endangered, I have no choice but to take action to protect this world. Xuanhuan. This is a vast sea of grass. Looking from the very high sky, we can see that the grass is endless and vast. But when we look down, we can find that every grass on this vast land is as tall as a towering ancient tree. Even the grass buds that have just emerged from the ground are as thick as bamboo shoots, and the lush green grass that has grown up is more than 10 meters high. At this moment, as if feeling the energy coming from the outside world, large waves suddenly rose up in the sea of grass, gathering towards the center area like sea water. In the center of this boundless sea of grass, many huge grasses, like giant trees, intersect and arch, forming a huge grass palace. In the green grass palace, you can see that dense grass roots gather here to form a huge bed. There is a man lying on the bed of grass roots. The clothes on this man's body are all made of grass leaves, and the skin all over his body is exuding a light blue color, as if he has been soaked in grass liquid all day long. Huh? Did those guys fight? At this moment, the sleeping man suddenly opened his eyes and sat up. The moment he sat up, he could see that those grass roots were densely piercing into his back and connected with his flesh and blood. This is like a freak. Fight quickly, fight quickly. No matter who is killed, I can go there and take root and absorb. The man's eyes were filled with excitement and anticipation. As he spoke, he couldn't help but look to the other side of the green grass palace. There was a coffin. The man's eyes glowed with a faint green light and he said, "Damn it, I've suffered from you for so many years and got nothing. If that woman dares to lie to me, I will eat every inch of your flesh and blood." True Ancestor Realm. The world looks sideways. What happened over there in the demonic wasteland? It's so terrifying. Is it a world-destroying war? This aura is the battle between the ultimates. Could it be said that the beings in the Temple of Sacrifice took action? I have never heard that the Ultimate One is traveling in the Temple of Sacrifice. There is the aura of the devil over there. Could it be that a demonic evil corpse has been born? It's very possible, but who can fight against the evil corpse? The world was shocked and confused. In the Temple of Sacrifice. It's such a violent fluctuation, it even scares the rest of us. Ning Tianji's eyes were cold and he said. It seems that the move of the visitors this time is really big. Ji Wulu opened his mouth and said. It should be not just MOG alone, but also other ultimates. As he said that, he couldn't help but glance at Wu Jiandao vaguely. The meaning is obvious. The ultimates of the true ancestor realm are all in the sacrifice temple, and those from the outside can take action. Only one. That is the newcomer, Wu Jianghe. I'm very curious as to why Wu Jianghe knew something would happen to Mohuang. Ji Wulu said calmly. It seems that every time our plans are interfered with and thwarted by him. Wu Jindao heard this and said in a deep voice. I hate Wu Jianghe to the core. He has nothing to do with our martial clan for a long time. Back then, I personally took action to kill him. Ji Wulu said coldly, however, he did not die and became the ultimate. Wu Jiandao said angrily, Ji Wulu, what do you mean? The atmosphere in the venue suddenly became a little cold. Why do you two need to be like this? At this time, Changsun Changqing spoke in time and mediated. We are all trying to prove the truth. Being suspicious of each other will only hurt our feelings and make our enemies laugh secretly. Don't let your loved ones suffer and your enemies be happy. At this moment, Ning Tianji suddenly looked at Changsun Changqing and said. Changsun, what do you think about this matter? Changsun Changqing sighed and said. This time it's not just the visitors, but also the distinguished guests from the Grey Mist Sea. Of course, a mere Wu Jianghe can't change the world. I'm just worried about the descendants my clan sent to the demonic wilderness. The eldest grandson, Nanhuo, is the heir that I personally value. If something happens to him, my eldest grandson's family will lose its lifetime glory. His face was filled with sadness, and he couldn't help but look at Ning Tianji and said. Brother Ning, do you have any core geniuses sent by your Ning family? Hearing this, Ning Tianji's face suddenly turned ugly and said. My direct descendant Ning Zayasi, he is extremely talented, the visitors are over there, they shouldn't hurt him, right? Changsun Changqing shook his head and said. That's not clear, hey, I just hope that my descendants can take advantage of great opportunities to continue the glory of my eldest grandson's family. At this moment, Wu Jindao, Zhang Shanjin, and others beside them couldn't help but have worried looks on their faces. This time, in order to obtain the Grey Mist technique, all they sent were the most elite geniuses in the clan. If something happens, it will be a big loss. Brother Ji, why are you looking so calm? Are you not worried at all? Changsun Changqing suddenly looked at Ji Wulu and asked. Ji Wulu said coldly. There's nothing to worry about, it's just a few descendants, it won't affect the overall situation. But after hearing this, Ning Tianji suddenly frowned slightly. He remembered what Changsun Changqing said before. The descendants of the true mole will definitely not have any trouble this time, and maybe they will return home with a full harvest. At this moment, Ning Tianji had a little suspicion. And at this moment, outside the demonic wasteland. Damn it, we can't go to this demonic wasteland. Wu Jianghe stopped in the void of the universe outside the demon desolate world, his eyes filled with fear at this moment. That kind of smell is so terrifying. Moreover, there is not just one ultimate, there seems to be many of them. Forget it, in a war between the ultimates, I am going to die on the road alone, it is not appropriate, it is not appropriate. Wu Jianghe decided to wait and see what happens, don't panic yet. Meanwhile, on the other side. The ultimate battle, Lao Wu is so fierce. Chang Sun Buletinmi's eyes were full of excitement. In his opinion, he arrived too late. The ultimate brother, Lao Wu, had probably already entered the demonic wasteland and started fighting. He tightened his grip on the spear in his hand, eager to rush in and help. It's a pity that in a battle of this level, neither Lao Ji nor I can be of much help. Chang Sun Bumi was very unwilling, so he immediately drew a blood talisman and contacted Ji Wuden in a single line. Because he was afraid of disturbing Wu Jianghe who was fighting the ultimate. Lao Ji, let's go, let's two groups of old martial artists clear the perimeter. I guess there must be people waiting outside the demonic wilderness, such as the visitors and major families. He spoke directly. On the other side of the blood talisman, Ji Wuden's voice also sounded, okay. Brother Ao, you are really amazing. In the void on the other side, Song Ji Yuan felt the shocking aura coming from the demon wilderness, and his legs felt weak for a while. At the same time, he couldn't help but look at Ao Wushuan with tears of gratitude. This is the real boss, the lucky star. This kind of foresight of danger, can be called invincible. Ashamed, ashamed. Ao Wushuan spoke with some embarrassment. He wanted to say that he was actually just avoiding the small mountain village. Everything related to the small mountain village is extremely evil. Hey, the organization just sent me news that a Supreme Elder is coming. Suddenly, Song Ji Yuan's expression changed, he took out a piece of crystal and said. The organization said that this war involves a wide range of things, so the organization also needs to observe and record it for subsequent analysis. Ao Wushuan heard this and muttered. Come here as long as you don't force us to go back to this world when the time comes. He just finished speaking. A teleportation array had appeared not far from them. Among them, the figure of an old man has appeared. He is, surprisingly, one of the 10 Supreme Elders who visited the prison Hui Song. He walked out of the teleportation array with a solemn expression and a piece of grey ancient jade in his hand. Meet Elder Huizong. Song Ji Yuan saw the situation and hurriedly stepped forward to salute. Ao Wushuan also followed. Huizong nodded indifferently, and then he raised his eyes and looked at the demon desolate in front of him, with a flash of shock and excitement in his old eyes. The ultimate battle. He murmured. A battle of this level must be recorded. It will be of great benefit to the organization. After saying that, he looked at Song Ji Yuan and the two of them, his face turned cold, and he said. You two are so brave. The organization asked you to follow the 3 adults in the Grey Mist Sea and prepare to revive the bones of the Forbidden Lord. But you two actually escaped. Are you seeking death? When Song Ji Yuan heard this, his face changed drastically, he knelt down quickly and begged. Elder Huizong, spare your life. We realize our mistake. Please give Elder Huizong a chance. Elder Huizong snorted coldly and said. Go back to the demonic wasteland immediately, take this ancient jade along with you, and record this battle. Otherwise, die. Hearing this, Song Ji Yuan suddenly turned ugly. Ao Wushuan was speechless for a while. Damn, what are you afraid of? I'll wait, follow your orders. Song Ji Yuan could only speak with difficulty. He took the ancient jade, then turned to look at Ao Wushuan and said. Brother Ao, we still have to take a walk. Ao Wushuan was angry, gritted his teeth and looked at Elder Huizong, saying. Elder, I wish you immortality and great success. Hui Song. Is there something wrong with Ao Wushuan? Stop being so glib and get lost. If you can't complete the organization's mission, you'll be ruined and ashes. He spoke coldly. Ao Wushuan looked at him deeply with resentment, and then left with Song Ji Yuan. Watched them leave for a long time. It's strange, why did that little Xuanhuan look at me before leaving and make me feel uneasy? He was a little confused. However, this idea just came up. Not good. Huizong suddenly felt horrified and his hair stood on end. He hurriedly turned around, only to see a terrifying spear coming to kill him. The eldest grandson is immortal. Huizong's face suddenly changed. At this moment, in the demonic wasteland, the four peerless powerful men were almost killing each other. Demon Ancestor, do it quickly, let's take down the weapon Ancestor. The Blood Ancestor was anxious. This demonic attack is too strong, Demon Ancestor, let's assassinate the Blood Ancestor first. Chizia was pressed down and beaten by the evil demon, and he was also very panicked at this moment. Demon Ancestor, however, was as steady as an old dog. He sneered faintly at this moment. He was just sending a message to Demon Fierce, telling him to take it easy and not hurt Ancestor Chi. However, he did not tell the Blood Ancestor and the Artifact Ancestor, in fact, they were both undercover agents. After all, this great situation must be staged for a while, waiting for the goods from the Grey Mist Sea. When the time comes, when someone comes over there, the Blood Ancestor and the Weapon Ancestor will turn against each other again, won't Blood win? Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 895. The battle was extremely fierce. However, after a long battle, the demon combination of Demon Ancestor and Demon Fierce even vaguely gained the upper hand. No. If this continues, there will be big problems. Lu Fei and others were a little anxious when they saw this. It seems that the Blood Ancestor and the Weapon Ancestor cannot be defeated. Especially the Weapon Ancestor, who is proficient in weapon refining, is not that outstanding in combat. Although his level is higher than that of the devil, he is suppressed by the devil. It seems, we have to invite someone from the Grey Mist Sea. Ji Qianming spoke in a deep voice. He could see that the Artifact Ancestor and the Blood Ancestor were already trying their best. I can only blame his plan for actually allowing the reincarnation of Demon Fierce to be ruined. I can only blame Demon Fierce and Demon Ancestor for being too strong. However, it doesn't matter, he still has a real trump card. At this moment, he no longer waited, and slowly took out a few blackened bones from his sleeves. Let's inject spiritual power together, activate the Taoist landscape, contact the Grey Mist Sea, and ask the powerful people there to come and kill the Demon Ancestor and the Demon Fierce. Ji Qianming spoke. Immediately, Lu Fei and Yafei nodded, and immediately stepped forward, and the three of them injected spiritual power at the same time. Moment. On those real bones, a grey light instantly emitted. Then, the illusory world suddenly emerged. The Taoist scenery contained in those real bones was inspired. Dao Jingdi appears, we can contact Grey Mist Sea. Yafei was very excited. When the adults over there come, everything here will be solved. Lu Fei is also very confident. But, at this moment, he suddenly felt that there was a flower in front of him. There seems to be a black shadow flashing past the eyes at an unparalleled speed. And then entered the Taoist scenery. No. Are you dazzled? Impossible, the Daojingdi is mysterious and unpredictable. Unless the owner of the Daojingdi allows it, other people cannot enter the Daojingdi. He shook his head and didn't think much about it. Ji Qianming, on the other hand, has already used a secret method to send a message to Daojingdi. My lords, the demonic evil has been reincarnated and has broken 100 questions in the ultimate grimoire. The demonic ancestor and the demonic evil corpse are causing chaos. Although the artifact ancestor and the blood ancestor have surrendered, they cannot suppress the demonic ancestor. Please come here and suppress the demonic ancestor. Kill the demon ancestor and the demon fierce. He finished speaking quickly, and his words turned into a flow of runes and flowed into the Dao scenery. Brother Ge, Lord Yuxiang of the Grey Jade tribe was killed in this realm. The adults on the other side of the Grey Mist Sea seem to be very afraid of crossing borders. Will they come? Next to him, Lu Fei spoke with some uncertainty. We have to worry, after all, Hui Jiao is dead, and we are not completely sure. Those strong people generally will not cross the border easily. Ji Jianming shook his head and said firmly. The devil reincarnated and solved 100 questions in the ultimate grimoire. This is enough to make the Grey Mist Sea take it seriously. They will definitely come. He knew very well that the reincarnation of the devil was too involved, and it was impossible for the other side of the Grey Mist Sea to just sit idly by. And at this moment, in the Taoist scenery opened by Ji Jianming and others, suddenly, a big black dog appeared. It is the fruit of the path. Wow, open a scenic spot in front of me. Don't you know that this emperor is walking on flat ground when entering a scenic spot? It was very proud, looked around and said, wow, I have to do some tricks here. It immediately scratched the ground with its paws and peed everywhere, and then it felt relieved. Immediately afterwards, the sounds outside turned into streams of runes and floated into the Dao scenery. That's what Ji Jianming said. The big black dog pricked up his ears to listen, but his eyes turned cold and he said, the reincarnation of the evil spirit is of great importance. How can I allow you and Xiao Xiao to leak the secret? It immediately waved its claws and used its magic power to cut off the part of Ji Jianming's words that related to the reincarnation of the evil spirit. However, in this case, the food from the Grey Mist Sea may not come. It's thinking. Knowing that the evil villain is reincarnated, the big guy over there will definitely kill him at all costs. Because this involves shocking secrets, even those existences that have been hidden for eternity and should be liquidated will jump out. Now, it has cut off the part involving the reincarnation of evil spirits, but people there may not pay attention to it. We need to find some motivation for the Grey Mist Seaside. The big black dog Dao Guo glanced at the world outside the Dao Jingdi. It saw the big yellow dog following Wu Dade. The big black dog muttered, wow, if you sell it once, it's still a sale. If you sell it twice, it's still a sale. You'll still make a profit if you sell it a few more times. It's not a loss. It immediately added some content to Ji Jianming's words. Then, this news was passed on. Now, the vast abyss, the other side. Thick grey fog enveloped the boundless ocean of space, and pairs of scarlet eyes stared at the other side of the abyss. All waiting. Are inducements really useful? Will those ancestors from the turbulent times return? There are whispers of presence. Everyone in the world is here for profit. Those ancestors went to that world in the past, but it was the woman at the end of the world who gave them hope to continue on the road ahead. But, since they have stagnated, it means that the woman has not fulfilled her promise, and the Grey Mist Sea is already a golden age, and all roads are open. Anyone else would come back. Well, according to time, those 3 young people in the past should have found their people. There was a lot of discussion. There's news. At this time, in front of the Tianyuan, several powerful beings suddenly spoke. Brother Ge, what's the news? Suddenly someone spoke to them. The people who got the news turned out to be the elders of Ji Jianming, Lu Fei, and Yafei. The 1,000-headed grey pigeon clan saw the immortal Ji Ruhen and muttered. Ji Jianming and the others did find the demon ancestor, the blood ancestor, and the weapon ancestor, but something went wrong. Next to it, a 4-legged magic duck covered in grey feathers made a female voice and coldly snorted. The artifact ancestor and the blood ancestor surrendered, but the demon ancestor was unwilling to return, and even joined forces with the demonic evil corpse to fight against the artifact ancestor and the blood ancestor. Hearing this, many beings were quite shocked. Blood ancestor and weapon ancestor, are you willing to surrender? This is a great thing. It would be great if even one of them is willing to come back. The demon ancestor actually doesn't want to come back. Is he crazy? Everyone spoke one after another. However, at this time, another powerful existence trembled with anger and said, "This is not the most important thing. The most important thing is, Lu Fei and the others discovered the trace of the big black dog. That damned big black dog actually has a body that is not dead and is hiding in the true ancestor realm. Ah! Our clan finally found this dog. No wonder its ghost is not dead, it turns out to be the main body not dead. He is Lu Fei's uncle Lu Duan, and he is gnashing his teeth at this moment with a hatred that is simply shocking. What? That big damn black dog is still alive. Damn, that beast is not dead. Ah, I want to cross the border, I want to kill that dog with my own hands and avenge my father." The 3 ancestors of our clan and the 13 top geniuses were all bitten by that dog. Such hatred, I want to kill the dog, I want to kill the dog. Damn it, this time even if there is a dragon's pond and a tiger's den over there, even if the woman at the end of 10,000 paths comes alive, I will go over and kill that dead dog. The news that the big black dog was still alive caused the scene to explode. In an instant, the crowd was excited, and the strong men from almost every clan turned red-eyed and roared that they wanted to cross the border and kill the dog. "Brother Ge, let me lend you the Taoist scenery, and I will go there in person. Mrs. Yachi, let's pass by your Daijing place. I won't give up until I kill that dog. Brother Lu Duan, how many people can your Taoist scenery hold at most? Let's fill it up. That dog must die." A group of strong men are extremely excited at this moment, scrambling to be the first. Their descendants died in the abyss and could not bring their real bones with them, so they had to borrow the Taoist scenery of Xuanhuan and the others. Now, even if Xuanhuan was in front of the car, they couldn't help it anymore. The news about the big black dog made them all crazy. Ge Qinming's elder, Xuanhuan, couldn't help but look a little complicated when he saw this scene. That big black dog, the hatred value was completely full. There is no one left. Good night. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 896. Demonic Wilderness. The war is still going on, and the situation is already tense. The blood ancestor and the demon ancestor were fighting back and forth, but the weapon ancestor on the other side was somewhat overwhelmed by the demon ancestor. If demon ancestor hadn't told demon fierce that Chi ancestor was an undercover agent, perhaps Chi ancestor would have been in danger now. After all, although demon fierce died prematurely and failed to grow, he fought all his life and gained a great reputation as a ferocious warrior. Although the weapon ancestor was at a higher level, he was obsessed with refining weapons all his life and was not strong in combat. If this continues, the blood ancestor and the weapon ancestor will be defeated. Lu Fei was anxious. Yes, why is there still no one coming from the Grey Mist Sea? Yafei was also a little anxious. Even Ge Qianming couldn't help but wonder at this moment. According to the world, it should have arrived long ago. Why, so slow? However, right now. Boom. The few pieces of real black bones in their hands suddenly started to tremble at this moment, as if they had received some extremely strong force and were about to shatter. What is going on? Yafei and others were surprised. However, immediately afterwards, the Dao scenery summoned by the 3 real bones instantly transformed from virtual to real. Boom. In the Daijing land, there seemed to be many things oppressing the space, exuding a terrifying murderous aura. This scene made everyone in the venue stop and stare at these scenic spots. Finally, reality and reality intersected, and powerful men suddenly fell out one after another from these 3 Tao landscapes. Second uncle. Ge Qianming saw his second uncle Xuanhuan and couldn't help but be very excited. Uncle. Third aunt. Lu Fei and Ya Fei were also pleasantly surprised when they saw Lu Duan and Mrs. Yachi. But then, they couldn't help but be surprised again, because behind these three people, there were other strong men appearing. Behind Ge Ruhan, four powerful men stood directly behind them. They were all powerful races in the Sea of Grey Mist, and they were filled with murderous intent. Beside Shikaduan, there were three masters with evil expressions. They looked around as soon as they appeared in this world, as if they were looking for something. Mrs. Yachi and her two immortals all had angry faces. Is this the true ancestor realm? This world is nothing more than that. Someone strong whispered. Well, maybe, not only can we destroy that beast this time, but we can also directly destroy this world along the way. Someone sneered. First kill the damned beasts, and then destroy the demon ancestor, accomplish our name. Someone's eyes are boiling with murderous intent. When Lu Fei and others saw this, they were all shocked. Why, are there so many? Is this battle a bit big? There are a total of 12 powerful men, and they should all be above the ghost level. The Grey Mist seaside actually pays so much attention to it. Brother Ge, you are right. The news about the evil murderer is really shocking. Both Yafei and Yafei couldn't help but sigh that a demonic murderer could provoke so many strong men. Ge Qianming himself was a little shocked. This was a bit beyond his expectation. Even the demon ancestor and others who were fighting fiercely on the other side were a little confused at the moment. Damn, why are there so many? The blood ancestor was immediately frightened. There were so many people coming at once. Was this a rhythm that meant he was going to be beaten? Even if he is still undercover and has the opportunity to conduct a sneak attack, how many people can he conduct a sneak attack on? If you kill 1 or 2 in a sneak attack, there will still be about 10 left. A fight will be brutal. On the other side, Chiziu also looked ugly. There were so many powerful enemies, even if he added money, it felt like it would be difficult to win. If they are fighting at the same level, they are not afraid. Even if the opponent is an immortal, they are confident of winning if they fight alone. After all, they were all powerful figures in the Grey Mist Sea, and they had experienced numerous fierce and bloody battles. But now, there are too many people on the other side. Moreover, these people are all immortals. After setting out on the road, every step forward is completely different. Even if they are kneeling forward and spending time by worshipping ghosts, they have finally moved forward a lot. At this moment, Demon Ancestor also had a headache. He is also planning to use the 2 undercover agents, Blood Ancestor and Artifact Ancestor, to severely deceive Grey Mist Sea. Who would have thought that the other party would not play according to the routine? More than a dozen came, he wanted to say, is it necessary? According to common sense, 2 or 3 will be enough. More than a dozen enemies are very difficult to defeat. Even with the 2 undercover agents of the Blood Ancestor and the Ancestor of the Blood Ancestor, it is still very difficult. Demon Ancestor felt as if he had been tricked. This was going to end his life. Blood Ancestor, Weapon Ancestor, are you 2 still undercover now? He couldn't help but ask. He was quite worried. When the 2 undercover agents, Blood Ancestor and Chi Ancestor, saw this situation, they might become undercover agents and become villains directly. Wouldn't it be worse to be a lonely demon? Weapon Ancestor and Blood Ancestor. When they both heard this, they couldn't help but be startled. What does this mean? What the Demon Ancestor said was, you 2. The 2 immediately looked at each other. Then, they understood each other instantly. So Chi Ancestor is also an undercover agent. Blood Ancestor murmured. It's all in vain. You've made me worry for a long time. I almost attacked the Blood Ancestor secretly. Chiziu also reacted instantly. However, they both became angry immediately. The Demon Ancestor already knew the identity of the 2 of them, but he didn't inform them until now. Wouldn't it be enough to tell them earlier and get rid of Ge Kinming's 3 little shrimps together? Now, just because Demon Ancestor concealed the truth about military aircraft, he caused such a big battle. There are a total of 12 immortals. Demon Ancestor, you are a swindler. The Blood Ancestor couldn't help shouting angrily through his voice. Demon Ancestor was also a little panicked and said, "Brothers, if I say that I was also deceived, would you believe it? I don't know which bitch deceived me." When Wu Date and others saw so many powerful beings crossing the line, their expressions became very solemn. "Damn dog, you've gone too far this time, there's a lot of stuff coming, can you keep it under control?" Wu Date asked. Next to him, the big yellow dog also looked a little puzzled and said, "Wow, this is a little abnormal. There are so many at once, why does it feel like something is wrong?" As it said that, it couldn't help but look at Xuanhuan and said solemnly, "This is coming for you, so be careful." After all, Xuanhuan hasn't grown up yet. Moreover, the 3 years of demonic cultivating and 5 years of invincibility brought by Xuanhuan can only exert its supreme power in the Taoist land. In this world, this book seems ordinary, just an ordinary book. After all, if this book also shows its supreme power in this world, if Xuanhuan reads it every day, the true ancestor realm will be gone. Only if the Taoist scenery is a place that is both imaginary and real, and will not endanger the present world, can this book exert its true power. Hearing the words, Xuanhuan said thoughtfully, "Are you here for me?" "Greetings, my lords." Ge Qianming and others immediately saluted. They were very happy. Although the number of strong men who came far exceeded their imagination, the more they came, the more stable they would be, which was a good thing. "Lu Fei, where is that beast you are talking about?" Shikatata asked directly. There is murderous intent in their eyes. However, I just scanned around and didn't see the big black dog. When Lu Fei heard this, he was startled, "That beast." But he immediately realized that that beast the uncle asked about was the reincarnation of the evil spirit. It seems that the demon is indeed vicious, and it actually makes these strong men hate him so much that they call him a beast. He immediately pointed in the direction of Zinning and the others and said, "Everyone, my lords, there." Suddenly, all the powerful men in the grey mist sea looked towards Xuanhuan and others. "Hey, that's obviously a yellow dog. It's not a big black dog. No, this yellow dog actually makes us feel like we can't see through it, it must be disguised. It must be the big black dog." All the powerful men were whispering. Ge Kinming's uncle Ge Ruhan also said, "Qianming, are you sure?" Ge Qianming nodded and said, "It's absolutely true, it's her." Ge Ruhan nodded and said, "My nephew has always been smart. Since he has determined the identity of this beast, there is no mistake. It is him." His eyes were cold. Upon hearing this, everyone was immediately filled with murderous intent. When the big yellow dog next to Xuanhuan and others saw this, the dog's eyes were extremely solemn. It whispered, "It's not good. The identity of the reincarnation of the evil villain has been confirmed by these powerful people." It said, "I'll fool them first, you guys hurry up and call someone." Then, it walked out in a swaggering manner, holding its head high and looking at a group of strong men. The dog's eyes showed disdain and pride and said, "Why don't a group of young people kneel down when they see my ancestor? This ancestor is the ancestor of the Huajiao clan. I live here. Don't you recognize me?" As it spoke, its breath suddenly changed and it let out a series of calls. "Woof woof 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 ho 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 ho." This is mixed with the ancestral voice of the Huajiao clan. In the beginning, Kazuo, the immortal seer of the Grey Zhang clan, was frightened by the barking of the big black dog, and was then attacked by surprise. Upon hearing this cry, the expressions of the powerful men from the Grey Mist Sea changed. The ancestral voice of the Grey Jiao clan, could it be the Jiao ancestor? Someone spoke subconsciously. Silly X, it's that dog, it ate Jianziu. Someone immediately reminded me. If everyone hadn't confirmed the identity of the big black dog in advance, they would have been deceived at this moment, or at least doubtful. But now they only have hatred. Why don't you kneel down? I am here, do you want to force me to take action? The big yellow dog continues to scold. That's called domineering. It just finished speaking. I saw 12 powerful men, all moving. Take action, and show me. Beast, suffer death. Kill. All the powerful men who came from the Grey Mist Sea had red eyes and overwhelming hatred. When the big yellow dog saw this, he couldn't help but be startled. What is going on? No longer useful? It shouldn't be, damn it, what exactly is the problem? It doesn't understand. However, it suddenly panicked. The 12 immortals could not be defeated now. It hurriedly turned around and ran away, ran to the demon ancestor, and shouted. The demon ancestor is here. He betrayed the Grey Mist Sea. Kill him first. I am really the ancestor. Let's kill the demon ancestor together. It wants to divert trouble to the east. When demon ancestor saw this, his expression changed drastically. This bitch was shameless and wanted to drag him into trouble. However, now that the matter was over, he gritted his teeth and prepared to join the war. After all, he is destined to be the enemy of the Grey Mist Sea. However, just as he was about to take action, the group of Grey Mist Sea powerhouses suddenly turned red and roared. Whoever dares to stop us from killing this dog today will die together. Demon ancestor, go away, you have nothing to do here, just step aside for now. Bitch, stop, I'm going to skin you. After hearing this, demon ancestor was suddenly a little confused. These people don't seem to be here for him. But, for that dog. He stood aside silently and said. Kill slowly and stay away from me. It will be bad if the blood splashes on me. At this moment, the big yellow dog was completely anxious and shouted. Woof woof woof, damn, who did I offend? It's too much. At the same time, Ji Jianming and 3 others used real bones to open the Taoist scenery. A big black dog quietly appeared. It looked at the situation outside, and the dog's eyes were a little complicated. Wow, is it necessary? There are so many people here, it makes me feel like I'm deliberately selling myself. That's all, master, if you hold on for a little longer, I will cut off the retreat of these grandchildren. As it spoke, it cast its magic. A stone statue was summoned into this Taoist landscape from nowhere. Damn fat man, back then my buttocks were used to suppress leaks from the sky, today, I'll lend you your body and use it to suppress the passageway to the scenic spot. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 897. The big yellow dog was beaten directly. Now, it was running away from left to right, and couldn't help but say. Wow, I am indeed not the ancestor. I lied to you. In fact, I am the ancestor of the 3-winged ferocious deer clan. You see, this is the ancestral skill of the 3-winged ferocious deer clan, the flying to heaven technique. It moves its 4 claws together at a very fast speed. While it is used to escape, it is also deliberately shown to others in an attempt to continue to deceive. However, Lu Duan of the 3-winged ferocious deer clan immediately gritted his teeth and cursed angrily. You bitch, you've eaten the ancestor of my clan. If I don't kill you, I'm not a human being. He struck out suddenly, almost drowning the big yellow dog. The figure of the big yellow dog was completely wiped out. Suddenly, Everyone was startled. Is that bitch dead? This beast's clone in this world didn't seem to be strong, so he was killed. Die like this? It's an advantage for him. These strong men are all a little unwilling. However, as soon as he finished speaking, a yellow shadow appeared again in that space. I am the duck ancestor of the four-legged magic duck clan. Do you have to force me to show my natal magical power, floating life technique? The big yellow dog spoke angrily and cursed. It's my clan's unheralded secret skill, the fusion technique, which can help you escape from death. My dear grandma, you really let this bitch ruin you. Go to hell. Mrs. Yachi of the four-legged demon duck clan, her chest heaving with anger, was frantically taking action. Other strong men also took action to kill. However, the big yellow dog instantly transformed into 1,000 dog heads, filling the void, and fled around. With the joint efforts of everyone, almost all the dog heads were blown away. But a few dog heads still escaped, reunited, and the big yellow dog appeared again. It's my clan's 1,000 heads of immortality technique. There are also strong men in our clan who have been eaten by this bitch. Ge Ruhen from the 1,000-headed Grey Pigeon clan was also shocked at this moment. In the records of their clan, there is no record of being harmed by a big black dog. Damn it, now it seems that this bitch even ate the most powerful person of their clan. It's even more extreme than the legend says. Bitch, I'm going to kill you. He was also furious. When the big yellow dog saw this, he cursed angrily. Let's show our cards. This emperor is actually your common ancestor, so he is proficient in the arts of all races. You are all my descendants, and you should kneel down and worship me. However, you actually have murderous intentions towards this emperor who is the common ancestor of all races. You unfilial descendants. It has now seen that it must have been exposed. This group of people has identified its identity, and the deception magic no longer works. So, simply give it a go. Kill it. Don't let it escape again. 12 Grey Fog warriors chased and intercepted him. This time, they really blocked the big yellow dog's path. On the other side, Chiziu, who was observing with a hammer, looked at the big yellow dog, his eyes full of heat. Sure enough, he is made of good materials. He came back from the other side of the road and allowed a group of immortals to beat him for a long time without dying. What good bones and good fur. Suddenly, another dog's voice came from Chiziu's mind. It's the Dao fruit of the big black dog. It transmits a message from the Dao scenery, telling Chiziu that it's time to take action. Chiziu hesitated for a moment, facing so many people, would he have given away his life in the past? But when he saw the big yellow dog that had been beaten over and over again by the Grey Mist strongman, it was still vigorous and vigorous. He decided to risk it all. It's worth fighting for this dog bone. He immediately picked up the big hammer, rushed over, and said, I'm here to help, kill this dog. At this moment, the group of Grey Fog strongmen were all chasing the big black dog, and no one paid any attention to him. He easily touched a strong man, and then, with a sudden hammer, he smashed it out. Bang! This strong man's head was smashed directly. Not good. Ancestor Chi, are you crazy? Many Grey Mist experts were surprised. According to the news, didn't the ancestor of the weapon have surrendered to the Grey Mist Sea? The strong man whose head was smashed was actually not dead. He stood up, clenched his hands, spoke with his mind, and said angrily, Ancestor Chi, I need an explanation. Chi Ancestor Meng Nan shouted. I'll explain it to you with a hammer. Then he continued to kill him with another hammer. The strong man who had lost his head even had his chest smashed this time. Traitor, undercover. Kill him. Immediately, two strong men took action, targeting Chi Ancestor. The rest of the people were still chasing the big yellow dog. It must be said that the big yellow dog's vitality is too tenacious. It has many great skills hidden in its body. Its ability to escape is unparalleled. It has been bombarded time and time again, but it can still jump out alive. Ancestor Chi, you traitor, you actually want to deal with the Grey Mist Sea? My blood ancestor will never tolerate you. At this moment, the blood ancestor also moved, and he went towards the artifact ancestor to kill him. However, as soon as he got closer, a bloody light suddenly lit up in his eyes, and he suddenly penetrated one of the people who besieged the artifact ancestor. The blood ancestor is also an undercover agent. They were all undercovers, they were deceived. Suddenly, these strong men roared angrily. Kill, let them see what we relied on to be able to claim our ancestors in the Sea of Grey Mist eons ago. Demon Ancestor also moved, with overwhelming demonic power and fierce killing power, he rushed towards the battle group. The Grey Mist Sea, it's not like I didn't get through it before, but now I dare to come to the ancestral realm to cause trouble. Mo Xiu had a cold look on his little face and said. When I die, can't I kill you? She took a step forward, and the terrifying fighting power was released. The demonic path was shocking and fierce. At this moment, Xuanhuan also took a step forward. She appeared beside Mo11 and said. Me and you together. Mo Xiu nodded, the source of the demonic path was released, and Xuanhuan could also use it. Xuanhuan's realm is not yet that of a spirit king, but she can borrow the original power of the evil corpse in her previous life, so she has also been pulled to the top level of combat power. The two of them instantly entered the battle group. For a moment, the big black dog that was being beaten was immediately rescued. Demon Ancestor, Blood Ancestor, and Weapon Ancestor joined the battle, and Mog and Xuanhuan took action. Among the enemies, two of them had been killed by the Blood Ancestor and the Weapon Ancestor in a sneak attack. At this moment, it was already 5 against 10. The three Demon Ancestors showed unparalleled power. Even though they only saw ghosts and could not defeat them, they were not weaker than any of these 10 people. Xuanhuan and Mo11 are even more terrifying. The devil is originally a killing star. He once killed through the Sea of Grey Mist and his killing was extremely fierce. But now Xuanhuan has read endless books, knows the laws of the world, and has reached the top level of combat power, and has become extremely tyrannical. No. A man who saw an immortal fought against the evil demon with his palms, but in the end, there was a hole in his chest. Who are you exactly? Why are you exactly the same as Demon Fierce, and why can you use Demon Fierce's power? The other person was beaten back by Xuanhuan, especially when Xuanhuan waved his hand. Characters that were ethereal and contained the power of the avenue blossomed out, making him breathless. Is she the reincarnation of the evil spirit? Xuanhuan discovered something unusual and said. First kill the evil villain and his reincarnation. Suddenly, 6 people were free to deal with Mog and Xuanhuan. At this moment, all the evil and evil ways are in full bloom. Even among the enemies, she has evolved into an invincible body. She is able to fight vertically and horizontally, giving people a vague illusion, as if she is a person with a higher realm. Xuanhuan is even more extraordinary. Her attacks are not weaker than Demon Fierce in any way, but her whole person has an air of elegance, like a child studying. Join forces and kill the enemy with one strike. Xuanhuan roared. The 6 great immortals joined forces. At this moment, they could no longer hide their strength. The ghostly shadows of Dao Jingdi appeared around them. They are calling upon the power of the Tao landscape. After reaching the realm of the road, Dao Jingdi is the foundation of practice and the source of all power. At this moment, the power they unleash together is enough to destroy the world. Mo11 was unafraid, and even had a trace of disdain on her face as she said. In the past, I slaughtered immortals like pigs and dogs. Today, even though the demon blood is exhausted and the source is dried up, it is not difficult to kill you. She uses supreme magic to carry out killings. However, Zinning stopped her and said, "In this life, I will do it." She could see that the devil's condition was not good. After all, the devil's power had been exhausted in the battle eons ago. He was completely suppressed and turned into a corpse. He was far from his peak state. Now he was using his corpse to perform that. Practicing a great magic technique may cause the body of the evil spirit to collapse. After saying that, Xuanhuan stepped forward. Faced with the oppression of the terrifying power of the 6th level Daoscenic area, she used the power of the devil to construct a character. That is magic. In this word, there are countless secrets of magic revealed. In the grey mist of the past life, the invincible evil spirit was smelted. In this simple life, there are peaceful and peaceful worldly fireworks. There are also every poem she has read, every book she has read, and the shadow of every story she has heard. At this moment, blend. This magic word seemed to be able to dominate everything, exceeding the upper limit of the capacity of this world. As soon as its shape first appeared, it burst into brilliant magic light. At this moment, the ladder to the devil's path emerged from the 9 heavens, and the ultimate palace of the devil's path suddenly became an immortal in front of the world. The moment the ultimate palace of magic appeared, the expressions of many powerful men in the sea of grey mist all changed drastically. Their Taoist scenery actually disappeared on its own, and they were so suppressed that they did not dare to appear. No. She actually evolved into the ultimate palace of magic. The reincarnation of the evil spirit is the great enemy of the grey mist sea. We must not let her survive, otherwise she may not be weaker than the woman of the past. The talent is too strong and must be killed. In the sea of grey mist, Luduan, Madame Yachi and many other powerful people were frightened at this moment and felt extremely shocked. In fact, at this moment, they couldn't even take care of the big black dog that killed him. Just one thought. There must be no delay in killing the reincarnation of the devil. I will kill him with all my might. Even if I suffer backlash, I won't care about that much. Xuanhuan spoke in a deep voice, and suddenly took out a blood talisman in his hand. The moment the blood talisman appeared, the power of rules appeared in this world, as if to burn the blood talisman and not allow it to appear. That blood talisman is not tolerated by the true ancestor realm. However, there is a terrifying murderous intention in it. The talisman of ultimate death. I am willing to bear all the consequences and slay the evil reincarnation. He shouted to activate the blood talisman. However, at this moment, he suddenly screamed. He lowered his head and looked, only to see a huge hole bursting open in his chest. He turned around subconsciously, only to see an unparalleled and elegant woman in white appear in the field. The woman in white was using a huge iron chain to pull a coffin. Her eyes were cold at the moment and she said, "Be responsible for all the consequences. By you. You're not qualified yet." She is, Xuanhuan. Sleep. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 898. Shocking change in the field. Xuanhuan was about to activate the blood talisman to kill Xuanhuan, but was seriously injured by Zhang Shui's palm. Everyone was surprised to see him. "This is, Miss Zhang Shui." Gong Ya spoke, and she recognized the identity of the woman in white. Surprisingly, it was Zhang Shui who had lived in a small mountain village for a while. Zhang Shui, when she was in Xiantian realm, once entered the small courtyard and wanted to become a disciple, but was rejected by Li Fan. Later, she was able to live in a small mountain village for many years and get along well with the villagers. During the era of the holy path of the underworld, she once had an identity as the Snow Emperor revered by the human race's holy path forces, also known as the Blood Emperor. Later, the underworld was destroyed, but she took credit for her cause and effect and entered the underworld. Later, Zhang Shui met Ji Wuden, who was being chased by the ancient Eternal Clan and fled to the underworld for his life. Perhaps because she spent a lot of time in a small mountain village, she was able to suppress the source of grey mist in Ji Wuden's body, which made Ji Wuden follow her and even treat her as her master. After entering the true ancestor realm, she and Ji Wuden went to the Blood Wasteland. In the Blood Wasteland, she found the cause and effect of her previous life and found the blood ancestor who guarded her evil corpse. She even asked the blood ancestor to come undercover. Everything is for this moment. Suppress the existence coming from the grey mist sea. Zhang Shui looked at Xuanhuan, Gong Ya, and others. Even though she had always been calm, she could not conceal her inner joy and excitement at this moment and said, "Long years no see, Senior Li, how are you doing? Are the people in the village all okay?" Gong Ya was also happy, nodded and said, "Senior Li is very good, and the people in the village are also very good. Aunt Wang often talks about you." When Zhang Shui lived in the mountain village, she lived at Aunt Wang's house. Aunt Wang even thought about bringing her and Li Fan together. Hearing this, Zhang Shui was even more moved and said, "When things are over here, Zhang Shui, go and see Senior Li and Aunt Wang and the others." The group of grey mist experts next to them were very angry at the moment. These two people were actually reminiscing about old times in front of them. As if they don't exist. "Who are you?" Lu Duan and others shouted angrily. Today, the 12 powerful men came together, but now they have suffered repeated setbacks. 3 of them have been seriously injured. Among them, the one who was hit twice by Chiziu is about to die. Hearing this, Zhang Shui withdrew her gaze. She coldly glanced at the many powerful men in grey mist and said word by word, "Kill your people." After the words fell, she took a step forward and clapped her slender jade palm, which immediately caused the space to rupture and swept towards many grey mist powerhouses. Court death. Kill her. Everyone was angry. The war begins again. Several people surrounded Zhang Shui. Zhang Shui was extremely indifferent. She slapped the lid of the coffin away with one palm. In the coffin, monstrous murderous intent erupted, and a female corpse suddenly flew out. The female corpse's eyes suddenly opened, and the killing light penetrated the sky like a rainbow. An approaching grey mist strongman was actually pierced. This female corpse was unparalleled, as cold as eternal frost, like snow-capped mountains, like glaciers, and its murderous aura was like the cold winter that spread all over the world. The sea of grey mist worshipped ghosts and then stood up. The female corpse said coldly, "Have you forgotten the years when you were killed until the grey path was filled with piles of corpses?" Seeing this female corpse, a group of grey mist strong men were immediately very fearful. The smell of this female corpse. Vaguely, not weaker than the devil. She is a bloody murderer. Suddenly, someone recognized the female corpse and was very surprised. "No, blood fierce, how come he looks exactly like the woman in white?" Could it be said that not only the evil has been reincarnated, but also the blood evil has been reincarnated? This is enough to shock the world. Kill them. No matter the cost. At this moment, Lu Duan, Mrs. Yachi and all the grey mist experts were truly frightened. It was once confirmed that the genius of Gide, who died eons ago and was transformed into an evil corpse, actually returned. Moreover, the qualifications in this life are obviously stronger than those in the previous life. If they were allowed to grow, Grey Mist Sea would be worried. They tried their best to take action. At this moment, the combat power of both sides is far from that disparity. Xuanhuan, Mog, Zhang Shui, Xueji, Demon Ancestor, Weapon Ancestor, and Blood Ancestor are the 7 top-level combat powers. On the other side, among the 12 strong men who came from the Grey Mist Sea, 3 were seriously injured, and only 9 were still able to fight. However, although they still have the upper hand in numbers, they are now at a disadvantage overall. Although the demon fierce and the blood fierce are just corpses, nothing compared to when they were alive, they have experienced thousands of battles and fought through the sea of grey mist in the name of ferocity. This kind of existence, even if it is a corpse, can still suppress the immortal. And Xuanhuan was even more radiant, triggering the ultimate celestial phenomenon of the devil's way, understanding the devil's way, knowing one's own nature. She was invincible in the field, and even 3 strong men took action at the same time, but they were all directly suppressed by her. In addition, Xuanhuan, as if she had peace of mind, borrowed the power of blood fierce to reach the top level of combat power, and she was able to attack with fierce force. Not to mention that there are 3 most powerful ones, the demon ancestor, beside him. No. A grey mist strongman had half of his body blown away, and his prototype appeared, turning into a triangular monster cow. They are too strong. Another grey mist strongman was knocked back a few steps and turned into a grey crane, trembling. It's just seeing ghosts, but it's enough to overwhelm the sight of immortals. Could it be that this is the legendary Forbidden Realm? The extremely forbidden realm is a symbol. When a cultivator sets out on the road and reaches the ultimate in a certain realm, beyond the recognition of the world, as if he is in an invincible forbidden zone, it is called the extremely forbidden realm. In the hell-level extremely forbidden realm, you can actually defeat an immortal. It's not just the extremely forbidden realm, the reincarnation of the devil can no longer be described with the existing words in this world. She is simply an anomaly. Next to him, a strong man who was defeated by Xuanhuan vomited blood and opened his mouth. Let's retreat. Let's go now. Suddenly, many grey mist experts couldn't bear it any longer. If they continue fighting like this, they may fall. For a moment, everyone was shaken. Ah! Suddenly, Luduan let out a shrill scream. He was resisting the demon ancestor's attack when he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his crotch. Looking down, he found that he gone. Not far away, a big black dog looked at him with disdain and said, "You little trash, you want to kill me? Even if your ancestors come here, they can only be used as snacks for me." Extremely arrogant. At this moment, Xuanhuan was so angry that he was shaking. It's too much to bully others, it's too much to bully others. I, Xuanhuan, will kill you, this damn beast, even if I use all my clan's strength. His eyes were red, and at this moment, he was determined to do anything. I will recite the name of the true ancestor with my blood, and ask the true ancestor to come to this world and suppress all enemies. In his 7 orifices, grey blood suddenly flowed. What? Xuanhuan wants to invite the true ancestor to come to the world. Is this crazy? The true ancestor cannot be called upon lightly. Even in the sea of grey mist, who would dare to call upon the true ancestor unless the time comes when the clan is extinct? Even the other grey mist experts were shocked. Xuanhuan, this was completely out of control. All the powerful clans in the grey mist sea have true ancestors. The true ancestors have already reached a state that is untouchable by ordinary people. They are extremely powerful and mysterious. In fact, the true ancestors of all races are no longer in the sea of grey mist, and no one knows where they are. But the true ancestor can come and take action through the Taoist scenery of future generations. However, if you want to invite the true ancestor to take action, even his descendants will have to pay a huge price. Are you going to use even this supreme trump card? Luduan, on the other hand, was already laughing crazily, burning his own grey blood, calling to his distant ancestor. My ancestor is supreme, listen to this voice, but please come down and kill the enemy. My ancestor is supreme, listen to this voice, but please come down and kill the enemy. Following his words, there was actually a grey path in his landscape, extending from an unknown place. At this moment, his Taoist scenery was almost unbearable, as if something extremely terrifying was coming from the grey path. At this moment, In the true ancestor realm, the endless rules of heaven and earth, like rolling thunder, condensed into swords and divine weapons, filled the sky. That grey path, actually made heaven and earth feel threatened. At this moment, the entire demonic wilderness realm, even the 4 realms and 8 wildernesses, and the true ancestor realm, were shocked. The people were trembling, the rules of heaven and earth were revealed, and the mountain-protecting formations of countless sects were fully activated. The world is shocked. Great Brahma wasteland. In an ancient temple, an old monk's eyes flashed with unprecedented solemnity, and he murmured, "The arrival of the true ancestor, is this going to start the final battle?" Xuanhuan. When this kind of existence appears, the true ancestor realm may not be able to handle it anymore. The man lying on the bed of grass frowned and spoke, turning his head to look at the coffin on one side and said, "Otherwise, I'll eat you first." By the Jingmo lake, at this moment, all the grey mist experts couldn't help but kneel down. Worship. No matter which clan the true ancestor is, they are all respected by everyone in the grey mist sea. And when he felt the true ancestor descending from the Dao scenery, Xuanhuan was extremely proud. "Do you think that my 3-winged fierce deer clan is easy to bully? I am the descendant of the Supreme Being, and my ancestor is the Heavenly Lord. You will die." Xuanhuan laughed wildly, and the grey plasma in his mouth and nose flowed like stone water. In order to summon the true ancestor, he paid a huge price, and he was almost going crazy at this moment. However, at this moment, Xuanning raised her eyes, looked at Lu Duan, and said, "Your ancestor was a heavenly lord? Isn't that amazing? Compared with the background, I'm afraid I'll scare you to death." She hesitated for a moment, but still tried it out, using the speech spirit method, and whispered, "My brother, is Li Fan." As soon as this statement came out, boom! It was like hundreds of millions of thunder falling. A great annihilation and great terror suddenly occurred in the Taoist scenery of Shikataru, and it disappeared directly, as if it had been wiped away by supreme power. In the Shikata Dao scenery, the grey path from the true ancestor hurriedly retreated, and a miserable cry was heard from the depths of the grey path. "Unworthy descendants, harming your true ancestor, Cao Nima." Vaguely, I heard an angry curse. In an instant, everything disappeared. Xuanhuan, on the other hand, stood dumbly on the spot. At this moment, his whole body seemed to have been struck by lightning. The other grey mist experts were also dumbfounded, completely dumbfounded. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 899. At this moment, all the powerful men in the grey mist sea were extremely shocked and horrified. "Oh my God, what happened? Huh? What happened? Did I read that correctly?" Shikatata asked the true ancestor to take action. The true ancestor's path has already appeared, and he was actually repulsed. Not only was he repelled, Shikajuan's Taoist scenery was completely destroyed. From then on, he became a complete useless person. For a moment, these grey mist experts all trembled and spoke. This scene was simply beyond their cognition. True ancestor, that is their oldest and most powerful existence. In fact, all the tribes in the grey mist sea have always been unconvinced by the battle during the great turmoil. At that time, the 10 deities and 2 murderers of the white mist ancestral realm killed through the grey mist sea, causing the entire grey mist sea to bleed. At that time, when the war was at its peak, various tribes were also inviting the true ancestors. Many grey paths appeared in the sea of grey mist, but no one actually came. Grey mist sea still feels that if one true ancestor took action back then, the 10 saints and 2 evils would not be so invincible. The true ancestor is the faith of grey mist sea, respected by the whole world. But now, Xuanhuan is desperately trying to invite the true ancestor, but this is the result. The grey paths have all appeared, proving that the true ancestor has indeed been awakened. But, don't dare to come. Shikatada's Taoist scenery was destroyed, and the true ancestor who had apparently awakened, escaped. What's going on? I have a little suspicion, were the true ancestors unwilling to come back then, or were they afraid that they didn't dare to come? A Grey Mist strongman murmured. Many Grey Mist experts have this idea at this moment. And Luduan was trembling even more. The Dao Jingji was completely destroyed, and his life was passing by rapidly. At this moment, his 7 orifices were bleeding, all the bones in his body were shattering, and his skin was broken. However, he was completely unaware of this pain and looked at Xuanhuan blankly. Who is her brother? Who is her brother? He murmured. At this moment, he was really frightened, trembling, and afraid. Because just now, he couldn't hear the name Xuanhuan mentioned. He only heard 3 words, my brother is. This situation means that the person's status is too high, and Shikamaru is not qualified to listen. What is the background of this little girl? How could her brother be like this? Higher than the true ancestor? What kind of monster did he provoke? The reincarnation of the fierce demon, what karma did she have? In one sentence, she scared away the ancestors of the 3-winged fierce deer clan. Damn, we were deceived. We were completely deceived. That big black dog was just a bait. We took the bait. Run away quickly, this world is a humming dragon's pool and tiger's den, hiding things that even the true ancestors are afraid of, run away quickly. The rest of the people had already reacted at this moment. This is a trap. If you don't run, it will be too late. They turned around and ran away to Mrs. Yachi's Taoist scenery. It was difficult to maintain the passage to Daijingdi, so before leaving, they worked together to build a passage for Luduan, Ge Ruhen, and Mrs. Yachi. Now, Luduan and Ge Ruhen have been destroyed, and only Mrs. Yachi's Taoist scenery can pass. Take me, brothers, don't abandon me. Ge Ruhen, who was already seriously injured, shouted. I want to go back to the Sea of Grey Mist, I want to go back to my clan. I don't want to come to this world anymore, take me back. Shikatada also begged and shouted. However, those Grey Mist strongmen who were not injured and still had the energy to escape ignored them and swarmed into Mrs. Yachi's Taoist scenery. However, they just got in. What they faced was a huge stone butt, slamming towards them. No. What's this? The people who were running for their lives were caught off guard. The 2 Grey Mist strongmen in the lead were turned into meat pie by the stone ass. Damn, is this the fat man who used his body to plug the leak in the sky? It's him, but why does his statue appear in our Taoist scenery? Everyone was very shocked. There are too many strange things today, right? Even a top secret place like Daijingdi can bring out evil spirits? We have been tricked. This is a trap, a complete trap. Someone has cut off our escape. Mrs. Yachi, on the other hand, gritted her teeth and spoke. Hearing this, everyone understood. It is said that this fat man is known as the Barbarian, and his physique is extremely strong. Back then, he blocked the big cracks in the void that were torn apart by the Supreme Being. Can't we go back to the Grey Mist Sea? Everyone was very frightened and anxious. And at this moment, behind the stone statue of the fat man, a fierce dog barking sound suddenly sounded. Woof woof woof. Woof 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 woof. Following the barking of dogs, the places where the big black dog had plowed and peed in the Dao scenery suddenly exploded. The blasted area formed a magic circle, shaking the entire Taoist landscape. No, I can't control my Tao Jingdi. Mrs. Yachi's expression suddenly changed. No, nothing can happen. Let's work together to help you maintain it. The other strong men are also anxious. This scenic spot is their only way back to the Grey Mist. If they are born, they will be doomed. Immediately, souls appeared one after another in the spiritual platforms of these powerful men. They had already fought hard, and all 3 souls and 7 souls came out and surrounded Mrs. Yachi, and their soul power was continuously sent into Mrs. Yachi's body. They used their soul power to help Mrs. Yachi survive. However, right now, in the Dao Jingdi, a huge black shadow suddenly appeared. Everyone couldn't help but raise their eyes subconsciously. Then, they saw a huge black dog as big as a mountain. It's a big black dog. Which goddamn big black dog is it? Isn't it outside? Why is there one here too? Damn it, this dead dog actually blocked our way. It was the one who tricked us. What a damn black dog. It must be it, damn it, it's the culprit behind the trap. In an instant, they were all filled with hatred, their eyes were spitting fire, and their killing intent was astonishing. But the big black dog just looked at them with contempt at this moment, then raised its hind legs and aimed at their group of souls. A stream of scorching yellow liquid turned into a waterfall all over the sky and rushed out. There was no way to avoid it. What a fool. Brute. You defecate everywhere, what the hell are you, human? Suddenly, these grey mist experts were all frightened, and their souls hurriedly returned to their spiritual platforms. But, it's too late. Blah blah blah. The heavy rain poured down, soaking many souls. No. Ah, my soul has been corrupted, this dog urine is so poisonous. This dog urine is fatal to the soul, no. I don't want to die. The souls of many grey mist experts were wailing at this moment, all wet, and burned by the turbid yellow liquid, falling into death. You bitch, I won't let you go even if I'm a ghost. A grey mist strongman screamed miserably and died. How can there be such a deceitful dog in the world? Damn it, even if you eat my ancestor, you still piss on me, I'm going to hum you. Another grey fog strongman, when he was dying, his face was filled with grief. Destroy it, I'm tired, I don't want to live anymore. Mrs. Yachi burst into tears. Everyone else's souls were wetted with dog urine, but her body was wetted with urine. With tears and urine all over her face, she was so depressed that she committed suicide directly. For a moment, Mrs. Yachi's Taoist scenery collapsed. The 8 grey mist strongmen who escaped inside all fell out and fell to the ground, all of them exhausted, like walking zombies. Their souls have been killed by the big black dog, and now they have become living corpses. Seeing this scene, Ji Ruhan and Lu Duan, who had not entered the Daojing area, were all stunned. What's going on? This is Demon Ancestor and others were all confused. What happened? However, at this moment, a big black dog slowly appeared from the void. Wow, with a little trick, all the enemies were wiped out. A dog is born as lonely as snow, as lonely as snow. It held its head high and looked up at the sky, as if it was melancholy and lonely. Good night. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 900. Everyone in the field looked at the scene in stunned silence. What's going on? Haven't Mrs. Yachi and others already entered the Taoist scenery? Mrs. Yachi's Taoist scenery passage was built in advance. Once they enter it, no one can do anything to them. Now, they all actually fell out. And it seemed as if he had lost his soul and turned into a walking zombie. His body was still wet and exuded the smell of urine. For example, Mrs. Yachi was soaked all over and died. She didn't know what kind of torture she suffered during her lifetime. What is going on? They entered the Taoist scenery and couldn't escape. For a time, the few grey mist experts who were seriously injured but not dead were all shocked. That big black dog, that damn big black dog, How did it get out of Mrs. Yachi's Taoist scenery? Shikatata looked at the big black dog with disbelief on his face. Why is this dog everywhere? Mrs. Yachi, etc., could it be because of that dog that it became like this? Huh? Damn dog, how did you get out of the enemy's scenic spot? When did you get in? Even Wu Dade was a little confused. He glanced at the big black dog next to him, and then at the dog coming out of the Taoist scenery. Two dogs, absolutely identical. Even the pretended demeanor is the same. Sigh, is it possible that with so many people in the field, no one can see the Emperor's plan? At this moment, the big black dog coming out of the Taoist scenery pretended to sigh and said, "Heroes are all lonely. There are too many mediocre people in this world." However, as soon as it finished speaking, it suddenly felt something was wrong and looked around suddenly. The three demon ancestors have already surrounded them, looking unkind. "Wow, you, what do you want to do?" The big black dog suddenly became frightened. "It turns out, it was you, the dead dog, who was the one who got in the way, dared to trick me, and made me beat him so hard." Demon ancestor said hatefully. "Damn dog, I'll kill you." Blood ancestor also gritted his teeth and said, "You bitch, you risk your life." They immediately rushed forward, held down the big black dog, and beat him randomly. "Woof, woof 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 woof, damn, don't hit me, be gentle, I'll be gentle." The big black dog was beaten badly by him. After all, this big black dog is the weakest of the three Dao fruits of the main body big black dog. Its true strength has not even reached the top level yet. That is to say, he has mastered too many taboo arts, supreme secret skills, etc., plus he has full deception skills, and he can use tricks and sneak attacks one after another to become powerful. Now it is being beaten from the front and has no room to maneuver, so it can only be beaten. Even Chi ancestor stood nearby and gave the big black dog a sudden blow. He couldn't help it. This dead dog was too deceitful, attracting so many grey mist experts. If Xuanhuan, Zhang Shui and others hadn't participated in the battle, the three of them would have been very miserable. "Wow, master, come and save me, wow, this Daokyo is about to be destroyed." The big black dog Daokyo couldn't hold on any longer and jumped up and down after being beaten, calling for help to the big black dog next to Wu Dade. However, next to Wu Dade, the big black dog was gnashing its teeth, and the dog's eyes were filled with hatred. "You piece of shit, you're even trying to trick the main body? Are you still a human being? I was beaten so badly by those people just now, do you know? If I hadn't been so strong, I would have turned into a piece of shit by now." It was so angry that it even cursed the word dog. Just now, he was still wondering. His identity was well hidden, but why did the group of grey mist strong men chase him as soon as they came up? No matter how they deceive him, they failed. Now it all makes sense. It was definitely Daoguo who sold himself out. Using the main body as bait, Daoguo actually hides behind and acts as the culprit behind the scenes. Going to the theater? Is it possible for humans to do this kind of thing? Dogs can't be so stubborn. It has always been the only one that deceives others, but who knows, today it actually deceived itself. I couldn't be more angry, I couldn't be more angry. It slapped its black paw and said, hit me hard, let this bitch taste what it feels like to be beaten." When everyone saw this scene, they couldn't help but have complicated expressions. This dead dog has deceived people to such an extent that they can no longer even stand in person. Is this the highest level of deceiving others, even deceiving yourself? Gongya couldn't help but speak. This dog is still so deceitful. The devil couldn't help but shake his head. As always, you are a swindler. Even the cold-blooded evil corpse commented in the same way. Not long after, the Daokyo big black dog was beaten severely, and finally found an opportunity, and ran to the main body of the big black dog. Woof 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 woof, the combined body, this Daokyo can't stand it anymore. It shouted. At this moment, a dignified and excited look flashed in the eyes of the main body, a big black dog, and he yelled. Woof woof woof. The Daokyo big black dog turned into a ray of light and poured into the main body of the big black dog. At this moment, there was only one big black dog left in the field. Ah, wow! The Emperor's strength is back. The big black dog looked up to the sky and roared, erupting with extremely powerful energy. At this moment, the big black dog's realm has directly reached the top level. Its Tao fruit has not reached the top level, but it has grown up in the small courtyard for so long and is already good. The combination of Tao fruit has been stimulated, making it the ultimate dog in one step. This damn dog, won't it hurt more if it bites someone this time? Wu Date felt a little scared when he saw this scene, and his buttocks subconsciously went cold. This piece of shit is the ultimate. Demon Ancestor and others were all slightly shocked. The big black dog at this moment actually gave them a sense of threat. This dog came back from the other side of the road. Chizu opened his mouth and told the origin of the big black dog. This made the faces of Demon Ancestor and Blood Ancestor change. The dog came back from the other side of the road. This is absolutely amazing. Since ancient times, all creatures who have set foot on the other side of the road cannot return. Is it death? Or sublimation? No one knows that the other side of the road represents top secrets and taboos that ordinary people cannot peep into. This damn dog won't take revenge on us in the future, right? The Blood Ancestor was a little scared. This dog is so deceitful, and he has such a big background. This is causing trouble. Even Demon Ancestor was silent for a moment. He seemed to have beaten the hardest just now. He couldn't help but look at the reincarnation of Demon Fierce and said, Sister, we are all our own people. If you beat a dog, it will not lead to death, right? Hearing this, Xuanhuan couldn't help but smile and said, if you go back to the village to pick up trash, you probably won't die. Demon Ancestor. In the blink of an eye, the overall situation on the field has been decided. The strong men on the other side of the Grey Mist Sea, except for Luduan, Xuanhuan, and a few other seriously injured people, all turned into unconscious living dead due to damage to their souls. It turns out, it's all a trap. At this moment, Ge Kinming's face was extremely sad and angry, and he said, Uncle, if I had known earlier, I wouldn't have told you about the evil villain's reincarnation. I was the one who harmed you. He hated it to the extreme. I thought that there was only one reincarnation of the devil, but who would have thought that this place is a dragnet? However, since the Grey Mist Seaside has learned about the reincarnation of the evil spirit, a more powerful existence will definitely take revenge on us. Ge Qianming can only hope for this. But his uncle Ge Ruhan was startled and said, didn't you tell us about the reincarnation of the evil villain? Didn't you just tell us that the big black dog still lives here? We came here to kill the big black dog. When Ge Qianming heard this, he was stunned. Then, he was trembling with anger. He looked at the big black dog that had just been combined and gritted his teeth. He understood that even the information he sent had been tampered with by the big black dog. The most important news is that the devil is reincarnated. Couldn't get it out? Bullshit, I want to kill you. He swore angrily. But the big black dog looked over proudly and said, little pigeon, as a pet, how dare you speak to your master like this? Looking for death? Ge Qianming said angrily. Who is your pet? The big black dog pointed at them, showed a stern dog smile, and said, from now on, you are all my pets. After hearing this, Yafei and Lufei immediately sat on the ground, their faces turned pale. No, I don't want to become a dog's pet. Yafei cried. Lu Fei burst into tears and said with despair on his face, "It's not just a pet. When this dog has enough fun, it will eat us in one bite." His heart was filled with regret. He came to this world just to complete his mission in exchange for the protection of a big shot in the Grey Fog Sea, so that he would not be picked up by the ghost of the big black dog when he was growing up and suffer the miserable fate of his uncle. Who would have thought that when she came to this world, she would actually encounter two big black dogs, one of which was the main body of the big black dog. "I am totally here to die." If he were given a chance to come back again, even if he died, he wouldn't come back. "God, you're not fair, you're playing with me." He cursed in grief. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 901. The war has ended. Give me a chance, we are all immortals, and we are willing to join and serve this world. Yes, we know the Grey Mist method and can give it to you. From now on, you can also transcend the four views. Killing us won't do any good, just leave us alive. At this time, Xuanhuan and the few other Grey Mist creatures who were still alive were panicking. The situation has become clear. If you can't fight, you can't escape. All I can do is beg for mercy. However, Wu Dade said. Who said killing you won't do any good? You can eat meat. His eyes were shining, and he glanced at Xuanhuan, Lu Duan, and others one by one and said. Pigeon? You can make roasted squab. Deer? I heard that deer antler is a good thing. The venison soup is extremely delicious and a great tonic. Are you a gray crane? I don't know what to cook deliciously, but master will definitely cook it. He judged each one by one, as if he had already seen the appearance of the delicious food, and his mouth began to water. This made Xuanhuan and other powerful Jianxian warriors feel furious. Could it be that, are they still going to be eaten? Even the blood ancestor and the artifact ancestor looked at Wu Dade with complicated expressions. This fat man was worthy of being with a dog. It was too poisonous to scare these Grey Mist experts like this. They don't believe that anyone can really eat immortals. The grey pork last time was indeed a little burnt. I hope the quality of your meat can be better. Wu Dade continued to speak. This group of strong men were all shocked. Hui Jian was eaten? Doesn't this mean that they? I don't want to be eaten, just kill me, just kill me. This world will definitely be destroyed, and you will not be able to escape the fate of death. When begging for mercy failed, they all yelled and cursed. I would rather die, than surrender. Shikaduan was even more direct. He twisted his neck and died. He was already crippled, and the Dao Jingdi was blasted to pieces. He was no different from an ordinary living being, so he died easily. Well, it's better to die, so as not to have to slaughter him when he gets to the village. Wu Dade didn't care at all. Even Demon Ancestor and others couldn't bear it when they saw this scene. He couldn't help but look at Xuanhuan and said. You, really ate grey beef meat. How is it delicious? Xuanhuan said. It's not a good thing, isn't it strange to eat it? As for the taste, the meat quality is not very good, but whatever Big Brother does is delicious. Demon Ancestor. He felt that the reincarnation of the devil really deserved a beating. However, he suddenly started to look forward to it. Huijian, he hadn't eaten it yet. Immediately afterwards, the big black dog took action and directly killed the powerful men such as Xuanhuan. Ji Qianming, Yafei, Lu Fei, and the other three were beaten back to their original forms, with ropes tied around their necks by the big black dog, and they really escaped as pets. Wu Dade took out the rope and tied up all the corpses of these strong men like tying up prey. Damn dog, you said you wasted it, right? Such a good duck was ruined by your dog's urine. While tying them up, Wu Dade was still complaining. Mrs. Yachi's plump body was soaked in the urine of a big black dog in the Taoist scenery. She couldn't use it, she couldn't eat it? Fortunately, the other strong men only had their 3 souls and 7 souls extinguished at that time, and their bodies were not stained with dog urine. Otherwise, they would have lost even more blood. Packing is complete. Sister Zhang Shui. Xianning looked at Zhang Shui with some curiosity and said, "Your evil corpse, isn't it evil at all? The reason why MOG can remain clear is because the red dust jade in MOZOC of consciousness happened to record the kind side of MOG, which was specially reserved for MOG, so MOG woke up. Blood fierce, how do you stay clear?" Zhang Shui glanced at the corpse of her previous life and said, "I changed her blood. The blood has been exchanged, just a simple word." In this life, Zhang Shui had lived in a small mountain village for a long time, and her blood had already qualitatively changed and had extraordinary effects. As for blood evil, its origin lies in the blood. Zhang Shui was washed with divine blood to wake her up from her confusion. "I should go." The bloody evil corpse spoke calmly. She raised her eyes and looked in the direction of the true ancestor realm. Filling the abyss of heaven is the fate of the 10 gods and 2 evil spirits. "Wow, wait a minute, take the stone statue of this damn fat man with you." The big black dog suddenly spoke and said, "This fat man has turned into a stone statue and will not survive." The bloody murderer glanced at the stone statue of Wu Date in his previous life, nodded and said, "Can." She immediately waved her hand, and the stone statue immediately flew up. "Wait a minute." At this time, Wu Date said, "I finally met my previous life. Let me say hello to him." As he spoke, Wu Date stepped forward, suddenly turned around, jerked his hips, and hit the stone statue. In an instant, the 2 fat buttocks collided together. Hiss! Wu Date suddenly screamed in pain and hurriedly covered his butt and jumped away. Still not as strong as in the previous life. He was trying to compete with his previous life. "You ignorant person, although you were very good in your previous life, you are even more good now." The big black dog spoke disdainfully. Wu Date said angrily, "Damn dog, you wait until Fatty Master asks Sister Feng and Zhu and the others to ravage me for a few days. When the time comes, I will kill you with a slap on my ass." But the bloody evil corpse had already taken a step forward. She took Wu Date's previous life with her, took 1 step forward, and disappeared immediately. She is going to Tianyuan. This is fate. Cannot be changed. It's time for me to leave. MOG also spoke, but there was a trace of reluctance and nostalgia in her big eyes. But Xianning stepped forward, took her hand, and said, "Let's go back and see Big Brother, okay?" In his previous life, Mo had a deep relationship with his eldest brother, so leaving him like this would be too cruel. She even had a glimmer of hope. Big Brother, could he let the devil stay? Mog looked in the direction of Tianyuan, where was the end of her life. Her heart was full of knots, but she finally raised her head and said, "I shouldn't be like this, but I really miss my big brother so much. If I look at him again, I'll leave. Back to the village, we can have dinner again." Immediately, everyone was ready to set off. Wu Dada was pulling a bunch of prey, which was a joy. However, Demon Ancestor quietly approached Xianning and said, "Sister, is your brother in the village you mentioned?" But he remembered that just now, Xianning mentioned her brother in the way of words and spirits, and the Taoist scenery of Luduan was blown to pieces, and the true ancestors fled. Moreover, at that time, he, like Shikabata, had not heard that name. But he understood that the more this happened, the more it meant that Xianning's brother was definitely a real boss. The kind that can scare even the true ancestor of the Grey Mist Sea away. This kind of not hugging the thighs is simply unacceptable. Xianning just said lightly. Hearing this, Demon Ancestor suddenly became excited and confirmed that the big boss was really in the so-called village. He gritted his teeth and said, "I suddenly felt that, picking up trash is also a pretty good job. Now, can we finally go to that small mountain village?" Blood Ancestor is also looking forward to it. It can be said that the reason why he was willing to go through life and death like this was because Zhang Shui told him about the existence of the small mountain village. Even a blade of grass is taboo, a vegetable worm can devour powerful beings, and there are even those supreme beings who use a phoenix as a chicken and a real dragon as a fish. This is a great opportunity. Congratulations, you are on the right track. Zhang Shui spoke calmly. On the other side, Chiziu was carrying a big hammer and was very angry. He stared at the big black dog and said, "Are you trying to cheat? Your Daokyo sold you to me. Not a single bone in your body is missing." He told everything before and after. When the big black dog heard this, he was immediately shocked. Damn it, this death path fruit, sold him twice. It suddenly felt that the beating was too gentle just now, and it should let Demon Ancestor and the others beat the dog Daokyo a few more times. However, now that we have become one, there is nowhere to express our anger. It had no choice but to bite the bullet and said, "Wow, actually, my bones are not interesting. When we return to the village, I will find some real good bones for you. I guarantee your satisfaction." When Chiziu heard this, he almost hit it with a big hammer, but he finally held back. After all, if they really fight now, he can't beat him. "If you dare to lie to me again, I will fight you." Chiziu gritted his teeth and spoke. "It's finally the weekend, and I can get a good night's sleep. Good night."